Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet a petite pumpkin. This is an easy little project for fall, and you can use it as an applique. You can use it for a fall table setting or any other fall decor projects you may have. You can really use any yarn you like. I used Lion Brand's Heartland. I used like a rusty orange and a green, kind of like a moss green and a dark brown. It looks very fallish to me. I also used a 6mm J crochet hook, and you'll also need a tapestry needle and a pair of scissors to weave in the ends and do your finish work. You can really use any yarn you like. If you do want to use a different yarn, just be sure to check the yarn label for the hook recommendation. So let's get started. We're going to begin by doing the pumpkin body first, the orange part of our project. So to begin, you're going to put a slip knot on your hook. To make a slip knot, wrap the yarn around your fingers to make a loop, bring the strand behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook, bring up that loop and tighten. We're going to be working all the stitches into the center of this ring. So to make the ring, we're going to chain 4. To make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the farthest chain from the hook, work a slip stitch to create the ring. To make a slip stitch, insert the hook into the chain, bring up a loop, and then bring that loop through the loop that's already on your hook. We now have a ring. Next, we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be the top of our pumpkin. And then into the center of the ring, we'll work a half double crochet. To make a half double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the ring, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through all the loops on your hook. Next, we'll work a double crochet. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the ring, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Next, we're going to work a treble crochet. To make a treble crochet, wrap yarn around hook twice, insert the hook into the ring and bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the next 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. We're going to work another treble crochet. Again, all of these are into the center of the ring. Then we'll work another double crochet. Get some more yarn. If you notice, I'm kind of pushing all these over because we're doing lots of stitches into the center of the ring. Then we'll do a half double crochet. We're coming around to the bottom of the pumpkin now. Work a double crochet. Work a treble crochet. Work another treble crochet. Work a double crochet. Now we're coming up around the side of the pumpkin. And then work a half double crochet to finish the round. So we have our pumpkin. To close the round, we're going to work a slip stitch into the starting chain when we began our pumpkin. And it'll look kind of like that. It looks a little messy right now if we compare it to our other pumpkin, but we're going to fix that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your scissors and just cut the yarn and then fasten off with your hook, just like that. Now I wanted to mention, as I was working all the stitches into the center of the ring, I was also holding my tail along the edge. So that allowed me to weave in this end as I went along. So what you can do at this point is just pull it to tighten it, and that'll help to close that hole. We can deal with all of these tails at the end. Okay? So next we're going to move on to the pumpkin stem. So let's take the orange yarn and move it aside for now. Then we're going to get the brown yarn. This is a really pretty dark brown, very fallish. Then you're going to locate the top stitch of your pumpkin, and you're going to just take your crochet hook and put it right in that stitch. And what we're going to do is just tie this brown right on to the top of our pumpkin. So go ahead and tie that on there. Don't need to over knot it, just a simple knot will do. So we're just tying the brown right onto the top, and then we can just take all these little strands and just kind of put them to the back so they're out of the way. Then we're going to reach in with our crochet hook. It's good if it's snug because it'll not have a big gaping hole when you work these stitches in there. So you're going to reach in with your crochet hook into that same stitch and bring up a loop, just like that. Now to work the stem, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then in the second chain from the hook, this loop here does not count, that's already on our hook. So 1, 2, in the second chain from the hook, we're going to work a single crochet. To work a single crochet, just insert your hook into that chain, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around the hook, and bring it through both loops. Then in the next chain, we're going to work a slip stitch. Then in the next chain, we're going to work another slip stitch. Might be a little snug, but that's okay. It'll look nice and neat. Okay, now where we tied the yarn in that same stitch, we're going to work a slip stitch as well, and that will anchor and hold everything in place and finish off the stem. So just do that. Next, we're going to cut the yarn and figure out which strand was the correct one because there's lots of strands now. And then we're just going to, I like to give it a nice tug and then just fasten that right off like that. And you can kind of shape it up a little bit. So our pumpkin is really starting to come together. So we're done with the brown yarn. This is a really good project for scraps. You don't have to have these full skeins like I do. Or if you have a little bit left over from any of your other fall projects, that would be great too. So let's do our little leaf next. The same stitch that we tied the brown into, we're going to tie the green into as well. So go ahead and tie the green right into the same stitch as the stem. And then to work the leaf, we're going to, again, put this strand in the back and deal with those in a minute. To work the leaf, just reach in with your crochet hook, bring up that loop like that. And then to make the leaf, we're going to chain 3. You can kind of like push this stem out of the way just to get it out of the way for a sec. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Next, in the second chain from the hook, again, this loop here does not count. So 1, 2, we'll work a half double crochet into that chain, just like that. In the next stitch, work a half double crochet again. There we go. And then into the stitch where we tied the yarn on, work a slip stitch, and that will finish off your leaf. Okay, then we're going to, I just left my hook right in there, cut the yarn, and then go ahead and fasten off, pull it to close. Then once you cut the yarn, you're just going to fasten it off to close it up. And then just give it a nice tug. So our pumpkin looks a lot like our other pumpkin now. So what we can do is deal with all of these strands. We've used lots of colors, so we have lots of tails to weave in. So we're just going to take our tapestry needle And the first one you can do is very easy. Actually, you don't need the tapestry needle for the first one. Just give it a tug. That was the center tail. And then trim. And then you'll just start weaving all these ends in. Now, a word of advice is, so I'm doing a green strand first. You want to weave the green into the green part of your pumpkin. You don't want to weave it into an orange part, for example, because then you'll have this line of green through your work. So weave the colors into their corresponding colors on the back. Okay, so here's a brown. You can weave that in. We're just threading our tapestry needle with just a short tail here. So you can just weave all those in. Here's another green one. And then trim as you go along. Okay, and then we have an orange one. That can go into the pumpkin, the back of the pumpkin. And really when you have these little tiny projects like this, weaving in the ends, when you give it a tug like that, see how it kind of pulls that stem in, kind of straightens everything out, pulls everything together. The ends can really help to anchor all these components together. Okay, and we have one more end to weave in, and then our pumpkin will be complete. So I'm just running it along the back part here. Give it a little tug, trim that off. So our pumpkin is complete, and you might want to kind of shape it up a little bit just to get that little pumpkin shape, and it looks a lot like our other pumpkin. So you have two little pumpkins. You can make yourself a whole entire pumpkin patch. So that is how you crochet the petite pumpkin. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure and click the red subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.